All right, what's going on, everybody? My name is Marquise Taylor, and this is
Deshaun Lyons, what it do? What it do?
all right, and we back coming at y'all with another episode on this show. Today, we're gonna be talking about drugs and addiction. We're gonna switch it up from the norm, so we just gonna jump right into the topic. With that being said, let's jump into it. Deshaun, you got those questions?
Oh, you already know I got the questions right now. This topic's gonna be real heavy, man. Real heavy. All right, man. How do you deal with a loved one that is addicted to drugs?
Very carefully. It depends on mostly what they're addicted to. I mean, no addiction is really a good addiction.
Right.
You got people that's addicted to different types of drugs, like people that's on crack. That's somebody that you would want to hold on to your toaster about. You don't know if they're gonna take your toaster, your microwave. They could sell your TV, Ray TV.
Do not put anything that's valuable around them.
Pretty much just to get that next fix. Then you got your weed heads. They're usually more laid back. A little too laid back.
But that's addicted to weed. Is that like would that be like? Because marijuana is totally different. Like if you're addicted to that, it's totally different. Like I know people that's addicted to marijuana that could function really well, that have great careers.
Of course. Marijuana is not one of those drugs that will drive a person crazy. It's a downer. It has you very relaxed.
Yeah.
It can do a lot of different things, like even going into the medical field. People with like glaucoma or like a cancer or something like that, it will be helpful in those particular fields.
Right.
But again, right now we're just talking about addiction. Any addiction is a bad addiction at the end of the day, be it you're addicted to opioids or, like I said, crack, cocaine, whatever the situation is. You got a family member that's into that stuff. What you really want to do is, the best thing you could do is just show them love. Even though, like I said, sometimes you might have to love these people from a distance, but just let them know that you love them, you support them. And, some people may even turn violent over their addiction. In that case,
right,
you got to love them from a distance. If you got to say, hey, get up out my house, it is what it is. But you always just want to be as supportive as possible. A lot of people laugh at this, but call 1-800-ADDICTION, damn it. Call 1-800-ADDICTION.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had to laugh. It just sounded funny, yeah.
It sounds funny, but unfortunately, we do have like these crazy situations in America where it really is a lot of people out there. So I would say there's different websites and things like that out there you could look at. You could try to contact those people. They'll try to help you. You
right.
know, like you said, if you have a family member or you yourself might be addicted to something, that's one of the many things that you would want to look at. And at the end of the day, with addiction, you got to get to the root of the problem. Why are you addicted to what you are addicted to?
Right.
That's one of the main things. You get to the root of the problem, you get closer to your solution on how to fix that.
Yeah. I would have to give that person that tough love, man. Because at the end of the day, they only could fix their problem. They the only ones that could overcome their addiction. Like people like when you have a family member that's addicted to something, especially drugs, they're gonna be real defensive and saying that I don't have no problem, I can handle it. But they have a humongous problem because we see it and it's affecting the people around them. So that person, even if it's somebody you really, really care about, like imagine that's your girlfriend, she's addicted to these drugs, or that's your wife, she's addicted to these drugs. That's a real hard decision. You got to do everything you could to get her some help, put her in a rehab facility, just do everything and then support her. As far as a friend, you probably have to give that friend a tough love. Tell them like, yo, like this is for the I'm doing this to help you, and I'm gonna have to love you for a while because you're affecting my family, you're affecting my my life, and I can't keep this baggage with me because I'm trying to be in a positive state. You just do everything in your power to help them overcome that addiction. Like, if you're addicted to crack and cocaine, it's like that's like one of the worst drugs to be addicted to. Like you said, the valuable things, they could try to sell it. It's just unfortunate. I remember, what was that Tyler Perry series? I feel like was it House of Pain?
It might have been House of Pain.
Yeah, that his well, it was his wife, but it was his baby mama. She was a crackhead, and he was in a situation that he had these kids, and they lost their home, and she pretty much, the father, he had to take the kids away from her because the kids was going to be in a bad predicament being around her, and he didn't want the kids seeing her. Imagine your mother's a crackhead, you really care about her, but it's like, I still love her, but she's addicted to this drug that's killing her slowly, and looking at somebody like that as your loved one going through this really bad addiction it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. So I would say with me, if it's somebody I really care about, it's a family member, or if I had a wife and she was addicted, I would definitely do everything in my power to put her in programs to make sure she get the right help. Like, kind of, I'm gonna have to probably force it, because at the end of the day, if y'all married, y'all won. So if that person is hurting, a part of myself is hurting. You see what I'm saying? I have to do everything in my power to get that person some help. The tough love would probably be for the friends. I would have to give them the tough love. I would do everything I could, but if they bringing me down, I'm gonna have to tell them, like, listen, man, like, you got to get help. You got to look yourself in the mirror, and you gotta resolve this problem and get past this addiction and get help, because you bringing me down. So I would say that like a family member, your wife, I would have to force the issue. Friends is a little bit more different. You would probably have to do what you said, like the tough love and, playing up from afar. I would say that, Keys.
Yep. But they got to want the help. You got to want the help. You got to want to change. If you can't admit that you got a problem, that's where you're messing up at. That's the first step.
Right. All right. Damn, that shit was a little heavy, man. It was a little heavy. We're gonna get to the second question. All right. Now we're about to get into the entertainment part of it. Because entertainment is heavy influence when it comes to drugs, right? So why drug addiction is heavy influence in the hip hop and pop culture?
Why not? Why not? For a lot of people, I'm not gonna say everybody, but a lot of artists, sometimes even to do the music, sometimes they feel like some of them have to be in an altered state of mind. Be it cocaine, alcohol, perks, whatever it takes to get you to that point.
Does it help, like, because certain people, they take these drugs to be in the, like you just said, be in the state. Maybe they could be more artistic. Maybe it could, being in that state could, I guess, make the music sound better. Like, do you think that helps? That's the reason why it's so much influence in like the entertainment world.
I would say so, and this is gonna sound a little funny, but speaking from experience, when I thought that I was gonna be a mega superstar rapping, which never happened. Yeah, from time to time, I used to drink a little bit when I went in the studio. But I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I don't want to be in an altered state of mind, all the time trying to do music, because then I feel like it takes away from what I'm really trying to get at. Even though a lot of people feel like, well, hey, being drunk might enhance a certain emotion. It does, but
Right.
I mean, it does, but at the end of the day, you still got to think. You ever tried to sit there and talk to somebody that's just drunk off their ass, like they don't make any sense?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it doesn't always happen that way with the music, but that's the way I thought at one point. Like, well, if I keep doing this, I'm gonna sound like a drunk asshole. So, therefore, I stopped doing it. But I would think that that's the thinking behind what a lot of artists are doing out there. Not to mention, how else do they feel like they can deal with the stress of being on tour, constantly doing shows, having to try to find a balance between family and getting this money. You got people from the neighborhood mad at you because now you're doing your thing. You got your family mad at you. Oh, you don't come around. You don't spend time anymore. Now you having all these problems. So yeah, you're gonna want to take something that's gonna take the edge off of all that. So I would say that's what's going on with a lot of artists. And going into hip hop briefly, you got to think. Even with hip hop, it's always been like a drug culture with hip hop.
You either taking the drugs or you either selling it.
Yep. And you got to think, coming from the inner cities with hip hop, a lot of these rappers, they're storytellers. So they tell stories of things that they saw. Nowadays, we got a lot of rappers that tell stories of just stuff that never happened. But it's in line with what other rappers was talking about in the past, but they were painting pictures of what they saw in their neighborhood. So they saw people taking drugs, they saw people getting high, they saw people selling drugs. So at least in terms of hip hop, I can say that's where your drug culture comes from. The inner city, what they saw there, what they dealt with there, and their struggles of dealing with that. You know, mommy might have been on drugs, daddy might have been on drugs, broken homes. What happens? You got to take something for that. You're stressed out. You're going through it.
Numb. Get away from get away from reality. That's what it sounds like.
That's exactly what it is. And yeah, I would say that's what it is. And that's all I got for you.
Yeah. I just feel like it's heavy influence because some, like, especially the kids they see some of these things being cool. It just they look cool and it fits the image. Because if you look at like the rock stars, the heavy rock stars, they're popping pills. They popping every pill imagine. Then when you look at the rap, you look at the hip hop culture, down south, lean is everybody taking a lean. So if these up and coming young rappers, SoundCloud rappers that's not even near yet, and they look at that image, they want that. They want to copy that. They go say, oh, so this is how you become a superstar. This is what a superstar looks like. The image. That's why I feel like it's drug addiction is just heavily influenced in the entertainment culture, the pop culture, the hip hop culture, even the rock culture. They just feel like it's just a dope image. It's like it's entertainment, but this shit comes with real consequences. At the end of the day, a lot of these kids are overdosing. Like what we did on our first ever On the Dotted Line show, when we was talking about, what was his name, Lil Peep.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Peep, he died for overdosing on drugs. And recently, Mac Miller died from overdosing on drugs. And this is like, the drug addiction is a real problem. It may look cool, outside looking in, but that person deep inside could be hurting. Or in promoting these, promoting this image that may not be real. Kids is looking at that and they thinking that this is a way of being cool. You know what I'm talking about? This is the image that that we need, and it's just it's bad. It's bad. I just feel like it's more it's heavy influence because of once again you being a cool kid. The cool kid is doing all the messed up things. That's what you saw in high school. You have the cool kids on one table. They can't read or write. And then you have the nerdy kid that likes freaking alchemy and all these, you know, the science of everything. They liking all of this, but they not cool. But who do you think the cool kids gonna work for when they get out of high school?
The uncool kids.
Right. Right, exactly. You see how the society works. So I would say that that's the reason why I think it's the image too. That's why it's heavy influence in the hip hop, pop culture, rock culture, because the kids look at that like it looks cool, but it comes with real consequences. We lost Matt Miller for that. We don't know what he was going through, because some people do it because they really going through some shit. They wanna numb the pain and, you know, get away from reality. That's another thing that, you know, we'll probably brief up on it in the next segment, because we could go on and on with this topic. But we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll be back. This is a heavy topic. This is the drug addiction. We'll be back in 2.2.
Yes, sir.
I switched to town zone, but what do I know? Spending nights hitchhiking, where will I go? I could fly home with my eyes closed, but it get kinda hard to see, there's no surprise though. And you can find me, I ain't hiding, I don't move my.
All right, folks, we're back. All right, for the second segment, man, we just gonna pretty much just discuss the general direction that we think the world is going to go in if we continue down this path of drug abuse and all this crappy stuff that, you know, we see the celebrities going through, all this addiction. Deshaun, where do you think we're headed if we don't change our ways with this drug and addiction problem?
We're gonna be heading into the zombie apocalypse. It's gonna be everybody gonna be zombies out there. I feel like every more people's gonna be socially awkward. It's bad enough we in the technology world. Now we into the drug world again, because, you know, back in the day in the 70s and the 80s when crack was huge, and it was like a lot more fiends, and you had the crack babies. And then towards like the 90s, it was more so the big time drug lords, they were selling them, and then kind of calmed down a little bit in 2000s. But now in this era, it's just more of they going back to being fiends again. It's gonna be bad. I feel like if it continues on this path, it's gonna be real bad. Because like a lot of these over-the-counter prescription drugs is, you know, you can get it easy. Oh, my back is hurting. They give you some pills, and then you take them and you get addicted to them. Michael Jackson got addicted to one of the pills he was taking because he had a bad back. You know, I believe they said Prince was addicted to drugs. Like the drug culture and the addiction is becoming a huge issue in this country, because I feel like this country, we suffer from mental health, and we don't do the things that we go through in society, because society could be real tough and hard for us to be able to actually deal with the problem, to fix it. We take the drugs to get away from the problem and not face it and get away from reality, because life is tough. You know, people may think, okay, these entertainers, they have so much money, what they have to stress about? Man, more money, more problems, like what Biggie said. They have a lot to stress about, probably a lot more than we think they stress about. And just life in general is just tough. It's tough, and people go to the drugs to be able to numb the pain. And I feel like we're gonna keep the path we're going to. It's not fixing the problem. It's creating more problems. And we continue going in this path, we're gonna be walking zombies. Nobody's gonna be in relationships. Nobody's gonna be able to be able to elevate and grow. because they have so much, so much drugs in them, and they're gonna just be, and also be dying in the early age. You're gonna only live to about 20 years old. It's gonna the age is gonna it's gonna be lower and lower. It doesn't help our health. It doesn't help our longevity. It doesn't help us in relationships. It's gonna become a huge problem to the point that we just living to die at that point. Even though you're gonna die one day, but you're not living the life. You're not living out your purpose. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say in the right hands, though, drugs, if they didn't have so many side effects or so many negative things, but we could definitely use drugs to help. And mind you, I'm not talking about.
You said drugs to help.
Oh, hold on, I got you. I'm saying I'm not talking about in the sense of, hey, everybody, let's go out and let's get crack. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, certain over-the-counter drugs, some of these things can help with pain, but another big thing is we got to learn how to, like I said before, how to identify what's causing our pain. And most of the pain is really more mental than physical.
Right.
The mind is a very strong tool. The mind can definitely overtake the body. So you got to identify what's wrong in your life. And that goes for everybody, from celebrities to just the regular people walking down the street, to grandma, to Uncle Pa June, whatever the hell his name is. It goes for everybody. You have to identify what's going wrong in your life. Once you do that, you can get a better picture of what you can do to help fix and remedy that. It's a process. Everything in life is a process. It's not going to get fixed overnight. Most things don't get fixed overnight.
But what about like if you poor and you don't have, like, because in the hood, you don't, like, you see a lot of trauma. You deal with a lot of trauma. You see a lot of things that you shouldn't be seeing in that age, and then you result doing that. What will be the advice for somebody in that environment to be able to overcome those drug addictions and go into that path?
What you got to do is, the best thing I could tell you, I mean, it's easier said than done, but what you got to do is, you have to separate yourself as best you can from certain things. And when I say separate yourself, even if it's a teacher, if you're a kid, if it's a teacher, if it's a librarian, if it's a businessman that you see every day you walk down the street, you got to find a way to disconnect yourself from the negativity and find somebody that's going to help mentor and motivate you. And that even goes to the grown ass men and women walking down the street. If you dealing with nonsense 24/7, if you are poor, if you are dealing with whatever you're dealing with, the best way for people to overcome those things, they have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. They got to see something better. That's why you'll have so many parents that, or not even parents, it could be an uncle or an aunt, your grandmother that'll pick you up, that picked you up when you was little. She took you up her way. Her way is a little nicer. She takes you out to a nice restaurant. You get yourself something to eat. Y'all not used to that as a kid. You could be used to, the dollar menu from McDonald's. That can be considered a 4 or 5 course meal for you. That could be great. But we all know that ain't shit. But like I said, just being separated and disconnected from the nonsense, even if it's for a split second, because for most people, well, I can't even say most people, because it's not going to reach everybody. Unfortunately, it's just not. But for those who are willing to see it, if you can disconnect from that and see something better, you're going to want better, and you're going to start to figure out ways to get better. I can't sit here and tell everybody how to do it, because these are the journeys that you have to go on for yourself in your life. Everybody has their own journey. What may have worked for me isn't going to work for the next man.
Right.
But you got to see better. You got to want better, and you have to go after better, and you have to learn how to get better. That goes with anything, even down to the drugs. You're dealing with craziness in your life, nonsense, you gotta, again, identify what's causing that, cut that off, get away from that as best you can, and focus on how to make yourself better. Once you do that, everything is going to start falling in line after that. But it's a process.
That was heavy, Keith. That was heavy. Damn. I don't know what to say, man. He's 100% right, man. You know, take advantage of the positive, the things that you see, that you feel that's positive. Take advantage of that. If you live in an environment that is not too much positive in that environment, you know, you gotta appreciate, and you gotta whatever positive influence is in that terrible environment that brings you out of it, take that advice, listen to it, so you can be able to, you know, overcome some of the things you're going through, so you won't have to, you know, resort to drugs because nobody's not listening to you. So damn, that was heavy, man. But we about to go to an empowerment segment because it's going towards the end of the show. Damn, this was a heavy topic. I want to shout out, go to iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, go to all these podcast platforms and type in DA Realist Podcast, the best podcast out. You know, he does sports, he does social issues, he does everything. Go to his podcast right now, DA The Realist Podcast. You can check him out. Also, if you need any artwork, go to IG right now and go follow @FlowBillions on IG. She'll hook you up with some dope artwork right away. Marquise, anything you want to promote before we close out?
Mask on photos.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody in the LA area who need that nice picture taken, professional picture, Mask on photos on IG, follow him, holla at him. He'll hold you down.
Right. And thank you for everybody that support this podcast. I appreciate it. If anybody else wants to support our podcast, to support what we do, and we're gonna try to continue on we're gonna continue on this great content. We're gonna improve many things in our podcast that we want to do for the viewers. Go to Anchor right now and click the listener support, and we appreciate anything you're willing to give, man. But this has been a heavy topic. Marquise, closes out with a final thought, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, nobody can do this for you but you, the best way that you know how. Love yourselves. That's all you gotta do. Just love yourselves, and that'll help push you forward. That's it.
Right. Love yourself, man. It's been real. My name is Deshaun Lyons, and this is
Marquise Taylor.
Peace out on the dotted line.